Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I'm just going to unpack some real breakup stories that I had on deck from a while back and get into it. And if you have a breakup story you want to share, please go to writemac.com. The link will be down below in the notes, or you can go to writemac.com. And send your story in, and I can unpack it in a YouTube video just like this. Or if you want a private video response, that's also available if you go to writemac.com. And if you don't want to go to writemac.com, then don't. So, also we have the Discord. If you want to join that, and you want to throw your story on the Discord for other people to look at and kind of chime in on that have come to the channel and whatnot, that's a growing feed. And you just use that link that's in the live stream right now or in the notes below. It's a really interesting way to communicate with a new community and tribe or whatever you want to call it. So, as you know from my show, if you've been here before, the story is the key. It's actually one of the most overlooked things in a breakup is the totality of you sitting down and really thinking about what happened, why, instead of just being emotional and talking about bits and pieces and tidbits and anecdotes and not really sitting down and really thinking about it. The times I've had people that are absolutely sure about what their ex did wrong, what their ex should do, what they should be, and then if they listen to me and they go, hey, you know what, go to my website, write your story out, that's the first step. They listen to me to do that. A lot of times they'll tell me that was therapeutic in itself, the fact that they were able to write out the full story and sit down and think about what happened, why, and it's sequential. So what do I mean by that? It's like this happened first, this happened second, this happened third. That's how the human mind works. And puts everything in order. And then, hopefully, best case scenario, you find some things that you were overlooking. You find some things that when I unpack it with you, that you go, I wasn't looking at it that way. Because a lot of times, let's be honest, most human beings have a selfish outlook, or the opposite. There's some out there that's not selfish. It's more victimhood. It's more, I don't like myself. I messed up. And that's also not good. You need to neutralize the story of the breakup in a situation where these are events that happen. These are feelings that are real. And get them all out, because it's a variety of things. And sometimes what you cling to is the worst feeling, which would be guilt, shame, regret. I don't know if regret would be a feeling. Do you think regret's a feeling, Danny?
Yeah, I think. I do.
Regret, that's a good question. Because, you know what I mean? Anger's a feeling. Shame's a feeling. Regret, I guess regret would be guilt in some ways. Anyhow, that's a very common thing, and it's not something that you can just make disappear by writing out your story, but by me asking some questions or unpacking it in a way that you didn't look at it, you can soften it up and break it apart, and then that way get it down the drain, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of times you have a clogged sink to your heart right now, if you know what I mean. All right, so I got 6 on deck, 2 likes. Haven't been on deck for a few days, been a little bit busy. If you want to book a live coaching session and talk to me on FaceTime or Skype, go to writemac.com. Let's get into it, as I like to say. Eduardo Martinez says, good evening, Mac. I asked the new girl I've been talking to be my girlfriend yesterday, and she said yes. After almost 2 years since my breakup, I managed to find somebody to share my happiness with. Well, Eduardo, first things first, congratulations. Second things first, just take it day by day. Have a good time. Be present. All paths lead to now. And be you. If you like you. See, this is the big thing, is that When I talk to people in live coaching sessions, we go an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. It's really important to understand if you like who you are overall, or 80%, because who you are right now is going to bleed over into your next relationship. And if you're not happy with who you are, you'll sabotage the relationship. So now that you've had 2 years since your last breakup, would you agree, Eduardo, it's a good time to start a new relationship? Have you become the person that you like? And that way, when you're in a relationship, you can set really good boundaries and really good expectations on what you want, and be honest and upfront and strong, so that you don't sabotage the new relationship in lieu of your last breakup, where you somehow believe this is how relationships are supposed to go. This happens again and again. If you don't sew up your breakup, if you don't sew up a bad relationship with your parents, if you don't sew up a bad relationship with your friends, family, or colleagues, later on, when you have this similar situation come up, notice I said similar, not same. Similar means like it smells like that, but I'm not sure. It's like 50% the same. You will mess up that relationship because the past one, you'll assume the same outcome. Does that make sense? And when I say sew it up, it doesn't mean that if you had a bad relationship with your mom, if she was a crack addict and she used to smack you around, which would be like worst case scenario, you have to find a way to forgive but not forget, and also move forward while not holding that parent in your future. In other words, you're done. You've had an experience with that, and you know the person you're not going to be because of who they were. That's a frame that you want to keep. A frame that would be bad is telling everyone how bad a crack addict your mom was and how much she smacked you around. You're in your 30s and you're still talking about it. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Doesn't mean it wasn't traumatic. It just means that you're going to have to find a way to move forward and frame that situation to serve you. And one way would be, I'm never going to do crack and I'm never going to hit my kid. See what I mean by that? All right, so we'll get off the crackhead stories and we'll get into some other stuff. So I'm just going to go through some of these stories that I've had on deck for a long time. They're short, they're concise, and like I said, if you have a story you want to share, send it into writemac.com and we'll get it up here. Hey, coach, I'm going to have a breakup with my boyfriend soon. I just have to. We have been together for 8 years and I'm done. It's boring and predictable. He turned into a professional TV watcher. He loves his football and basketball but never plays it. Isn't that interesting? Well, I think there's a lot of guys and women out there that watch sports and don't play it any longer. I think a big part of it is if you played a sport. I know I played basketball for years when I was young. Never played it on a high level like college or professional, but I still love to watch the game. And it's a way to live vicariously through those people. But also what we get from sports, I don't think people realize this, is sports is present moment. There's an outcome that's unknown, and there's a winner and there's a loser. It's pretty interesting when you think of it that way, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's what's exciting. And you have a clock, so there's a finish line. So that's what, sports aren't just like, why does this person like sports? There's a reason a lot of people like sports. And then you have a team, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for that. The fucked up thing is he hasn't done anything really wrong. He's got a secure job and pays the bills and has good medical. So right there, you're saying those are the good parts of him. Those are the things you value in him as a boyfriend, that he has a good job, pays the bills, and gets good medical. We go on vacation to watch sporting events, or his team play, I should say. I'm a fan too, I just don't make it my life. Well, here's the thing. If you're a fan too and you go with him on the vacations, he probably assumes blindly that you're into it just as much as he is. What you're saying is he's a bit fanatical about it, and it's unattractive at this point. What I'm guessing is you've had some change in your life where it's just not as important as it is to him, and now it's a bit annoying to do sports. As much as I like sports, I've made moves in my life or started new jobs, and all of a sudden I don't watch the ball games anymore. All of a sudden I can't go to the gym as much because a schedule changed or something took its place. Recently, I started to take up yoga and healthy cooking, and he just hates all that. Okay, so this is where you have a situation where you don't line up any longer, right? You don't line up any longer because yoga and healthy cooking with a fanatical, I'm going to say couch potato sports fan, because you're saying he never plays, he's not active, it doesn't really line up. It's really divided us, and now I've become attracted to some fellow yogis. Well, there it goes. Tick, tack, toe. This is why you write your story out. It's very obvious what's happened here. You've entered a new environment. You have new values. You're taking on a new identity, and now you're attracted to different people, and now you're putting yourself in environments that have those people, and it's obvious that at some point you probably are going to leave this guy, or there's a good chance you will cheat. I haven't done anything, but at some point it's coming. Exactly what I just said. It's not fair to either of us to lie any longer. I'm 33 years old, and I can do better and deserve better. Well, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you about that. I would say if you can do better and you deserve better, then cut the umbilical cord now. And if you see yourself, doing yoga and being a healthy eater for the next 5 years, and you don't see there's any chance of coaxing him into this lifestyle, then I would say, you know what? Don't wait much longer. Have that talk and have that confidence. I wouldn't say it's going to make you feel better to cheat first, then make the decision. But a lot of people do that because they like to secure the backup plan first, which I don't think is something you feel good about later on. So you writing this out at this point is much better than you writing it out when you've already done something you regret. How do I let him down easy so we can still remain friends? Well, the idea that he's going to want to remain friends is only useful and helpful to you. That's you weaning yourself off the relationship. That's you saying that even though I can do better and I deserve better, at the same time, I still want this person's support. I still have feelings for him. She writes, is that even possible? You can go into a breakup with the intention of letting someone down easy, but if they're still in love with you or they don't see it coming, it's not going to be easy. Or if they feel like they can't do better, it's not going to be easy. So you can go in with the intention of letting them down easy. You can obviously do some things that would be kinder. One thing I've come across over and over again is to have a face-to-face conversation. People have a big issue with texting and breaking up, so I don't know if that was on deck for you, which at the end of the day, a breakup's a breakup. Or the worst case scenario, which some vindictive and manipulative people do that are highly selfish, not saying it's you because you're a yogi, right? What they do is they find something about their current partner, such as watching basketball and never playing it. They find out something about them that they didn't mind before or they actually liked, and they twist it into a negative. And then twist it into a negative to make them the bad guy or bad girl. And now they have a reason to break up. And now when they break up, they'll go, all you do is watch basketball and sit on the couch, and I just can't stand it anymore. The reality is you changed who you are. They didn't change who they were. No one's wrong and no one's right. You need to agree to disagree. There's a different way. That would be not necessarily letting this person down easy, but it would be leading with much more honesty. I don't think it's necessary that you say you are attracted to some fellow yogis, but I do think it's necessary for you to say that, I like to do yoga, I like healthy cooking, I'm starting to see things differently, and I just don't know if we line up the same as we did before. That's much better than you going, I can't stand that you watch ball games and sit on the couch all the time. That guy, if you do that to him and eventually break up with him, is going to be wondering, hey, why wasn't it a problem before? What happened? And he'll be going through all these ideas of, Oh, I should have stopped watching. I should have known. That would not be letting him off easy. That would be accusing him of something he's done for, doesn't say how long you guys have been, for 8 years. It says we were together 8 years, and suddenly it's a problem. Human beings aren't able to just change that quickly. And then he's somehow going to believe that it's bad to watch sports and that the next woman he's with, it's going to be bad for him to watch sports, when in reality, you changed. He didn't. So I don't know if you could let him down easy, but you could lead with good intentions and honesty. I really think he has no idea this is coming. Well, yeah, because you've been together for 8 years. You've already said that he's upheld some things that you really enjoy, such as, having a good job, paying the bill. 8 years is an achievement in the relationship world in the 21st century. Congratulations. That being said, now that you've taken on this new lifestyle and you're finding other yoga mates attractive, and you're saying you deserve and you can do better and you're 33 years old, what are you waiting for? The worst thing you could do is find reasons that they did something wrong so that you could feel good about breaking up. I hope that helps you. So, next story. Hey, Coach, I love your YouTube channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you for saying that. I'm ready to break up with my girlfriend today, and I wanted some advice on how to do it the right way. We have been together for 4 years, and she is so kind-hearted and special to me. She's a real sweetheart. It's just at 26 years old, I want to have more women. Very common problem. The famous saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Some do, but they don't have it forever. There's possibilities. There's times in my life where there's situations with work or relationships, and you feel like I'm having my cake and eat it too. It doesn't usually last. I've only been with 2 women in my life, and now I'm curious. Very common. 26 years old. What would it be like to be single? My brother, who's in his 30s, just got a divorce, and he said he's never been happier. Okay, this is one of those cases where your brother in his 30s and you at 26 is 2 different animals. So what I would say is your brother's probably going, don't ever get married because of my marriage, which I understand. That being said, you're different. You have a different path. You have a different outlook, I'm assuming. The single life is great, he said. I'm not a follower, but I'm intrigued. Happens all the time. Someone close to you becomes single and you think that would be great. And you know what? It could be. Don't do it because someone else did it. Something led your brother to do that would be different than yours. If you're with someone, she's kind-hearted and special to me, she's a real sweetheart. Those don't grow on trees. You don't just become single and you'll be dating 4 of those kind of women that you'd be with for 4 years. This is what gets lost a lot of times. And you are happy with her currently. I'm not telling you not to break up. What I am telling you is to take a step back, take a little bit time away from her. Like if you guys hang out a lot or if you live together, take a weekend with your buddies alone or take a weekend on your own. Take some time away and see how much you miss her first. But a lot of times if someone, the reason that your brother got divorced is different than the reason you would break up right now. And I'm just saying, you think at 26 you're just going to meet 4 or 5 women that are similar to your girlfriend now that are more variety and better looking. It doesn't work that way. It's not that easy to find someone that you love and you want to live with and be with for a long time. So just keep that in mind. That being said, at 26 years old, it's completely common to be curious and go, I've only been with this many mates or partners, and I really want to see what it's out like there. I'll tell you right now, though, you're not going to find another one like your current girlfriend. That doesn't mean your current girlfriend's a soulmate. That doesn't mean that she's the one that you should marry. What it means is there are only one of those human beings in the world like that. Every human being is individually numbered, individually wrapped, and a little bit different. So if you think she's real special and she's a sweetheart and you become single again in the name of curiosity and intrigue, and you're paddling around the single world, you're going to miss that girl because you got 4 years with her and you're leaving at a sweet spot in the relationship. And so what I would do if I were you, like I said, take some time away before you make the decision. See what it's like to not be around her for a week. You don't need to tell her why you're doing that, but do that first. My girlfriend deserves better. That's a bad way to look at it. I need to tell her the truth and let her go to find a better match, and maybe in 4 or 5 years after I sowed my oats, we can get back together like the movies. LOL. No, that won't happen. If she's sweet and special and kind-hearted, she'll find someone before you do, probably. So if you think about that as a possibility, and all jokes are half true, trust me. I've talked to other guys before. I know one situation in particular. I was a close friend of mine. I'll never forget this. Out of high school, they were high school sweethearts, great couple, great love, football player and the cheerleader, literally. Went to the same college. She was a great girlfriend all the way around. Good looking, sweet, kind. She was absolutely in love with my friend, and he was in love with her. They go to college. First year of college, he ends up breaking up with her for the same reason. Curiosity killed the cat. He broke up with her because he wanted to see what it was like to be single. He had women around him a lot, and he wanted to sow his oats. Never found another woman like that again. Chased her for over 2 years afterwards. And she got married to someone else not quickly, I'd say 2 or 3 years later. And he's never met another woman like that before. Was that his soulmate or anything like that? No. It's just that sometimes you assume that when you're single, you're going to meet all the women you're going to meet are going to be that great. Women that you have long-term relationships with, if you're a confident individual and you are selective, they don't grow on trees. And so when you're single, I always say embrace being single. But you're going to have a tough time meeting someone you line up with easily after being with someone 4 years that you found sweet and special. I know I'll miss her and would like to still see if possible, just see her if possible, just not exclusive. Well, that's best case scenario for you. But I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say if she's kind-hearted and special and sweet, a real sweetheart, she won't like that idea. And if she agrees to see you non-exclusively and let you play around, it'll be a limited time. So you won't be able to do that for like 6 months or a year. She might do it for a month and try to win you back. But this is one of those things that's a trade-off. How should I approach the breakup where I don't hurt her and we can still see each other and even leave the door open to get back together in case I don't like single life? Well, that's you looking at things from a perfect world standpoint. And you're like, okay, if this doesn't work out, how can I guarantee it doesn't work that way? If she's in her mid-20s, she's a good catch, she's a sweetheart, she's special, she will pivot out of the relationship. There will be other guys knocking at her door very quickly, and you think she's got to wait for you? I don't see any carrot at the end of that stick. So the idea, you either go in on this or you don't. But like I said, what I would highly recommend in the next month before you break up, take a week away from her, see how much you miss her. Go on a trip with your buddies or go somewhere alone. Really think about this, because you don't want to do this impulsively. This idea that you guys can get back a few years later or you can hook up with other women and have her on the side, she's not going to want to be on the side after you've been together for 4 years. No respectable woman will want to be that way. And if she does agree to that, it won't be long term. So you're kind of playing with fire. You got to figure out what you really want. Everything's a sacrifice. Everything's a trade-off. You have a really good girlfriend. She's special. You don't want her to fuck around on you, so therefore you don't fuck around on her. You having thoughts of wanting to at 26 years old, completely common. Now you have a choice to make. This idea that I can do that and then still have her on the side, and then down the road if I want to get back with her, I can. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, but I wouldn't take those odds in Vegas. All right, let's go back to the next story here. Hey, coach, I'm a first-class jerk, and I know it, but for some reason my wife let it go. I can be a real dickhead. I work long hours, and I'm moody a lot. So all these I am statements are true because you make them true, because you believe it is who you are. And I work long hours and moody a lot. Is that an excuse for being moody? I like my women to keep the house clean and my meals warm. Friends say I'm stuck in the 1950s. I just know who I am. Well, sounds like it. I'm a first-class jerk. I can be a real dickhead. I'm moody. Sounds like you know who you are. Do you like being that person? Would you like to change those things? If work contributes to that, could you get a new job? I mean, are these, I don't mind if you like your woman like the 1950s, and if that means clean the house and keep your meals warm. There's some women that like to clean the house and keep the meals warm and cook dinner. I don't think that's a problem. There's women out there that would enjoy doing that for their husband or their boyfriend. You being a jerk is a whole nother thing. I just know who I am. Do you like who you are? She knows it too and has always dealt with it. And then when I'm really wrong, I will say sorry. So now you have a playbook where you know you're a jerk, and then when you do something really wrong, you'll say sorry, and somehow that makes it better. I also never hit my wife. Well, kudos to you. I mean, to me, that shouldn't be something you ever. I would never say, "Oh, I never hit my girlfriend," because to me, that's just what you're supposed to not do. That's human. Whenever I hear of someone being abusive with their wife or something like that, it's beyond cringe. It disgusts me. But I do yell sometimes. Well, she says too much. Now, after being together for 10 years, she said she is moving out with her sister and moving to Montana with her. Well, are you surprised? Are you surprised, Danny?
Not really.
I mean, based on what he's saying, right? I mean, I'm a jerk. Like I said, I don't have a problem if you like that your wife, you like when your woman keeps the house clean and the meals warm. There's nothing. Someone might say that's chauvinistic. I don't think that's, you know what I mean? That's okay. There's women that like to do that. I've had girlfriends that like to clean the house and cook me dinner. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Nothing wrong being attracted to that. The idea that you're moody, you're a jerk, you can describe yourself as someone that only says sorry when you're really wrong, as opposed to sometimes wrong. You know what I mean? And the fact that you want credit for never hitting your wife, that's suspect. Now, after being together for 10 years, she said she is moving out with her sister and moving to Montana with her. Well, she's had enough living with a jerk. Just like that, we are from New York. New York. She will hate Montana. Says who? You? I've been to Montana once as a little kid. It was beautiful. It's beautiful country. Beautiful, not a country, but beautiful country areas. So the idea that because she's leaving you, she's not going to enjoy it sounds like a highly biased opinion. She hasn't even been camping. I don't think you need to move to Montana and go camping. There's houses there. She says she just can't live with my verbal abuse anymore. There's your answer. There's your answer. She didn't even warn me, man. But she just told you why, and you know that you're a jerk. So tic-tac-toe. I could have worked on it. Could have? That's what a lot of people do. They go, oh, I would have changed, or I could have changed. This is the slap in the face you need to go, she probably gave you some hints along the way. Or the times that you've made her cry or really upset and you finally said sorry, those were all building up to this moment right now where you thought, oh, I'll always just get my way. Doesn't work that way. She leaves next week and I've been calling her every day. She usually just hangs up on me. But yesterday, she picked up and said, I'll always be in her heart, but she has to do this. When she's ready, she'll call me. Be patient, please. Well, again, that's a very clear statement. Leave her alone. If you really want to push her away forever, then keep calling her, because you'll be that annoying salesman, and then you'll become a psycho in her mind that doesn't listen. My buddy said she will call with her lawyer ready. So you haven't said that you were, okay, it is your wife. I don't know what to think. I'm spun. Well, I mean, if she's moving away, yeah, divorce is a possibility. First things first, stop calling her. and listen to what she said. She'll call me. Be patient, please. So, if you've been together, I don't see the years, 10 years, and you're married, there's a good chance she'll call you back. She needs the smoke to clear a little bit. In the meantime, leave her alone. The lawyer ready? You know her better than I do. You know, if she gets a divorce, she'll have to get a lawyer. But just because your buddy got taken to the cleaners or had a bad experience in a divorce, consider the source if your buddy's bitter. I don't know what to think. I'm spun. Yeah, you're shocked. I just want her back. How do I get her back? Number one, stop identifying yourself as a jerk who's moody a lot. But first things first, leave her alone. Leave her alone. And when she calls you back, have a talk and be understanding and listen to her. Don't just apologize to make it better. Let her move to Montana and see what it's like. And if she doesn't like it, and if she misses you, which she said you'd be in her heart, she will only do that if you leave her alone. And if you want to prove that you're not this jerk, tell her you understand. Tell her you understand that you've been this certain way for a long time, and you have to see what Montana's like, and you respect that, and you would like to keep the door open in the future. If you could do that calmly, directly, maybe there's a chance. If you take the opposite approach and tell her how much she's going to hate Montana and she doesn't like camping and how could she do this to you, she probably won't come back. Either way, there's no guarantee. In the meantime, figure out why are you such a jerk and you think it's okay. Because future relationships, guess what? You got less options when you got that outlook on yourself. Does that make sense? What should I do right now to make things right? Support her in her move. Tell her you don't like it and you're hurt, but you understand. And that you have some things to work on and you wish her the best. That will surprise her. And hopefully you mean it. All right, I'm going to go into the live stream really quick. We got 11 on deck, 5 likes. Donations are welcome. If you have a story you want to share, please send it in. Rob, Guardian of the Gate, how you doing? Double D. Dark Knight, people show who they truly are when they break up with you. If she's vindictive, immature, then trust me, that's who you'll see when she wants to leave. The longer you wait, the hotter your date. Improve your life. The rest will follow effortlessly. Words to live by, I suppose, Dark Knight. All right. Hey, Coach, I'm really going through it right now. It's been 11 months since my breakup. I'm 29 years old and feel lost. I hate my job. I'm running out of money. And all I do is think about my past relationship and how fucked up it was. I cheated and got caught. It was that simple. Well, thanks for keeping it simple. But the question is, 11 months since your breakup, 29 years old and feel lost. There's a lot of people at 29, 28 years old that feel lost because you somehow think at that age you should have it all figured out. I know I didn't. I don't know if I still have everything figured out, but there's this pressure that's different from when you were 18, 19, early 20s. That's like, oh my God, I'm going to be 30 and I don't have it all figured out. Being lost at 29 is not the end of the world. First of all, let me help you with the compass and the map, my friend. I hate my job. Are you ready, Danny? I got a solution. Mm-hmm. Get a new job. Look for a new job. Keep that job till you find a new job. Those are your choices. Hate is a strong word, right? I mean, this is going to contribute to your unhappiness more than you just missing your ex. I'm running out of money. Solution, you got to make more money. I don't know how. Well, start researching it. Start hanging out with people that make more money, not because you want to get money from them, but because you want to learn from them. And all I do is think about my relationship and how I fucked up. You need to reframe that to what you learned. I cheated and got caught. It was that simple. I actually cheated a lot, but always got away with it. Well, there you go. There's your problem. You somehow believed that you were going to get away with it forever, and that reality wasn't true in your relationship. So you need to figure out why you were cheating in the first place. And if that's something that you can embrace as being single, that you want to see multiple women at 29 years old, maybe it's a better opportunity to embrace being single. Then once I got caught, lost my girlfriend at 5 years, it was like I couldn't be attracted to another woman in that way. That's a limited mindset. I'm sure that happens to everyone in the beginning. 11 months down the road now, this is why we just read that earlier story about the guy going, oh, you know what, I'm gonna break up and then we can maybe get back together, LOL, ha ha ha. Good luck. It doesn't work that way, actually. It really doesn't. And I think that people like to believe, men and women, that if their ex didn't want the breakup, that it's always an opportunity to get back with them. So like you break up and your ex is beside themselves and you think, oh, we can get back together if this doesn't work out. No, that's not how it works. I've hooked up with a few women over the last 11 months, but always compare them to my ex soon lose interest in them. I can't stop thinking of what a good catch she was. This is my exact point. And I've talked about it before. I think Corey Wayne mentions it. Like when you meet someone that lines up that you spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years with, and it was a good relationship, those don't grow on trees. It's not one of those things that like when you become single, you're going to have more shallow relationships and deep relationships. And some guys and some women don't mind that. They're very comfortable with having shallow relationships and flings and one-night stands and date someone for 3 months and realize it's not for them, and they're okay with it. Meeting someone where you're like, I want to hang out with this person outside of intimacy. I want to introduce this person to my family and friends. It's different. It's different. And you just don't, with dating apps and everything out there to meet more women, meet more men when you're single, the options are more abundant. But the reality of meeting someone that lines up with you like that takes time. Is there a chance that you could meet someone like that right away? Sure, there's a chance. There's always a chance, but it's just not that common. And so one of the things you really have to look at is the environments that you're meeting the women in, and do they line up with the type of women you want to date? That's really overlooked. Demographics. So a lot of people use dating apps. If you're just saying looks, and then you keep coming across, shallow women or women that are taking pictures of themselves at the dinner table 15 times, don't be surprised. If you're like, I'd like to date a professional who's a lawyer, a doctor, or a nurse, then you can get really specific. I don't think that that's a bad thing, by the way. Those are things like, well, that I really value someone that works hard and this and that. Maybe I need to dial down where would those people hang out? How would I get in contact with them? How am I going to change the groups I hang out with to meet more like-minded women? Where did you meet this woman that was such a good catch also? We don't even talk anymore because she said... We don't even talk anymore because she said it wasn't helping me or her. Now here I'm writing you and wanting to know, how do I get out of this spin cycle? My friends say I'm hard on myself and I just need to keep dating. I've never had trouble attracting women. I think my problem is that I can't let go of what I had and I want her back. Well, that's the problem. I think my problem is, your problem is. So there's some things that I can help you with as far as, even though it's 11 months down the road, I'd highly recommend a live coaching session because you obviously have some things that you need to talk about still. And there are some exercises such as the emotional freedom technique and hypnotherapy that help people let go. And I can help you with that also. I actually do hypnotherapy with clients now. And after 11 months, I know it's dust. It is dust. You broke up. She was a good one. And you cheated. She wasn't okay with that. It is dust. How do I get through this? How do I turn things around and possibly get her back? Stop trying to think about how you're going to possibly get her back and think about how you're going to get back on deck yourself. Start with a live coaching session. All right. Let me check the live stream here. Dark meat. Okay. Hi, Coach. Leon Barron. I blocked my ex on WhatsApp. Will that stop her from coming back? I'm sure if she really wants to find you, she has your email. People do this all the time. Well, if I block someone on something, will they never come back to me? First of all, you're blocking her for a reason that has nothing to do with just getting her back, right? Leon Barron, if she really wants to talk to you, she'll find a way. That's absolutely true. She only reaches out on my birthday and Christmas. Will she come back? Most likely, no. But if I had to give you a better tailored answer, send in your story to writemac.com, or let's do a live coaching session, and I can give you a little bit more detailed response to that. The reality is no one out there, coach, teacher, colleague, friend, random person in the streets that somehow you think would know, knows if your ex can come back 100%. No one knows. It's always a possibility. And if I was to put odds on it, I would have to know more about your situation. There are situations when I read a story and I do a live coaching, I'm like, there's a good chance she's going to call you. Or I say that she's going to call you back. And that's mainly if you were a good boyfriend or husband or girlfriend or wife, and you have a lot going for you and you feel good about yourself. And the breakup was accepted by you with grace and dignity. Those are the things that where I'm like, a lot of times, those people, and here's the thing, people come back, but it doesn't mean you get back together. People come back, and they get back together, but it doesn't mean they're together for long. That's what everyone assumes. It ain't going to be rose petals and wine classes for the next, eternity. See, a lot of times, getting back together leads to another breakup because, to me, the rope that kept you together has been strained and it's just not as strong. That being said, certain circumstances do prevail and you get back together and you've never been better. 42 minutes in here. We've got a few stories. I think the stories have been good today. Hey, Coach, I'm tired of the empty feeling. Hope you can help. I've talked to friends and family, but it seems like everybody has such different advice and none of it seems to work. I've been broken up with my girlfriend for 6 months now. We were together for 5 years. I'm 30 now, and she is 28. This month, we still talk about once a week, but I'm in the friend zone, and I've accepted that. Hold up. We were together for 5 years. I'm 30. She's 28. We still talk about once a week, but I'm in the friend zone and I've accepted that. Why would you accept being in the friend zone when you have an empty feeling? That's a covert contract where you're hoping to have more than that and you're going to get disappointed. She likes it that way too. Do you like it that way, honestly? Once in a while, she'll throw me the odd compliment that I cling to for weeks. Okay, that's not her fault. That's your fault for accepting being in the friend zone. Like a month ago, she said, well, you always were a good cook. Okay, is that a comment you cling to? Then I thought, sure, I'll have her over for dinner and cook her favorite, and I'll get some candles and we can listen to some soft music, the classic stuff. I paint this ideal picture. Then I talk to my best friend and he says, look, it's over. That's not going to work. And it freezes me. Well, I would need to know a little bit more if we talked in a live coaching session, but the idea that your friend freezes you, I would say if you guys are talking once a week, I don't have a problem with you asking her out. I wouldn't go Ronnie romance right away. But if that was a relationship you had and she's receptive to you, being, Ronnie romance and, putting on the soft music and going all in, I think it would be better to do that and get polarized and get rejected or have it accepted and work out than your friend just freezing you and you doing nothing. He said, I'm way too needy right now that will never get a girl back. I don't know how needy you are. If you're talking once a week, that's not that bad. But I'm not saying you'll get her back by having one of these dinners. But I'll tell you this, you'll at least know where you stand. And I don't even know if it's the best idea, but it'll put you in one direction or the other, if that makes sense. It'll polarize the situation where you're not neutral. You're more, okay, she's not interested. I tried the dinner thing. Now I'm done. Now I need to move on. Now I got the smack in my face. Or you have the dinner thing, it doesn't go well, and you realize you weren't too needy. Or you have the dinner thing and it goes well and you see what happens. This is a discovery mission. Or you ask her for the dinner and she says no and now you know where she stands. You see where I'm going with this? A lot better than feeling frozen by a friend's comments who's not part of your relationship. He said I was way too needy. I've dated a little bit and always tell her about hoping she'll get pissed off. That's needy. That's weak. But she doesn't seem to care. And now she's been seeing someone she said she really likes. If she's seeing someone she really likes, move on. Move on. Huh?
Move on.
Right? Mm-hmm. She's seeing someone else, dude. And you're the friend on the side and she's telling you about this.
There's nothing you can do.
Well, I mean, there's something you can do. You could be her friend. Mm-hmm. You could be her friend. And that's fine. There's people out there that can be friends. They can be over the relationship or slightly over it, and they can go, I can be your friend because I'm dating other people. You can't because you got your heart on the clothesline, dude. He's a chef, and the last 2 times we talked, she couldn't stop talking about him. Oh, God. Really? You're doing this to yourself. She really does look at you as a friend if she's telling you these things. Do I need to cut off contact with her after what you just wrote? Hell yes. It's torture. So this is why you think if you cook a meal, you're going to compete with a chef? Good luck. How do I get out of the friend zone and maybe even back together? I think you think one or the other. I think you think, first of all, getting out of the friend zone just means not talking to her anymore. Maybe you have to say something before you do that if you talk once a week. But you can come up with something, surely. Or you could just say, hey, look, I still got feelings for you, and I don't think it's a good idea to be friends. That would be being honest. Maybe even get back together. At this point, that's not even an option. She's seeing someone else she's gaga over. So what are you going to do? Compete after you were together for 5 years? You're 30 years old. You're in the prime of your life. You're a good cook. Use it on someone else. Good idea? Never accept friendship if that's not what you're looking for. I guess it depends on what kind of chef. But a lot of people do this and they somehow think, if I do this, this, and this, then it'll work. No one can predict the future, unfortunately, but best thing you can do is assume she won't and focus on yourself. That's the best chance you have. In most cases, I'd agree. All right, one more. Hello. It just starts with hello. I don't know what to do here. I've been broken up for 2 weeks and can't sleep or think about anything other than that final day. We have been together for 2 years and 2 months. I'm 28 and she's 22, so we've had some maturity issues. I don't know, 28 years old is an age that some people should be a little bit more mature. She gets very emotional easily. We go from watching TV to having dinner to her in tears because I said my burger she cooked was a little salty. That's sensitive. Sometimes at night she gets these nightmares where we then have to leave lights on all over the house because she's scared someone is in the house already. That would be tough. So that's one of those things that you go, hey, let's work on this. If you can get a hypnotherapist, you can do the EFT, emotional freedom technique. There's things that can combat this. Is she open to that, or she just believe there's ghosts in the house? I tell her I got a gun in my nightstand. Don't worry, I'll handle it if someone breaks in. Well, I don't know if she's having nightmares if she thinks it's an actual human that's going to break in or ghost. Right, Danny? I mean,
Yeah.
a gun's not going to work on spirits and ghosts, probably. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's, you know, where are they at? Where are they at? You can't see them. Ooh. I shouldn't make jokes about this because, oh my goodness. She relaxes after this. About 2 weeks ago, she was woken up by the neighbor's dog barking and made me go outside to check what was going on, and it was nothing, or so I thought. Well, I mean, she obviously has some issues with sleep, and it's probably from something when she was young, I guess. Later that night, we had our laptop computer and some money and jewelry stolen from the house. Okay, so someone broke in the house. Okay, that sounds like your garden variety of burglary. Jewelry stolen, money stolen. I guess they got in when we were asleep. They got a ring. They got a ring her mother gave to her, and her mother isn't around, so it meant a lot. Well, that's a big deal. That's not sensitive. That'll be a big blow. Now she's blaming me and said she doesn't think I can protect her. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Someone breaks into your house while you're asleep and they're a clever burglar and it's your fault. The right way to frame that is for her to be reasonable in the sense, maybe you should move neighborhoods. Maybe you should lock your doors and your windows better. You know what I mean? Having you be the one that's blamed is absolutely ridiculous. And if you're explaining yourself and you're giving into that comment, you're being weak, needy, and you're setting up an expectation in the future for her to put you down regularly. We had a big fight, and I said some things I wish I could take back. Well, I hope you defended yourself. I said she acts like a baby and needs to grow up. Well, did you mean it? I mean, that's not that bad a statement if you meant it and the actions apply to it. Maybe you could have been more sensitive and kind about it, but that's not that bad. She said she needs a real man to protect her. Tell her good luck. You know what I mean? I mean, do you feel like that's true? Stop defending yourself and tell her, go ahead. Good luck. You need a woman that doesn't wake up in the middle of the night and wants all the lights on. It wasn't your fault a burglar came in unless you left the door unlocked. In that case, it doesn't mean you didn't protect her because you didn't even have the opportunity because the guy was in and out or the woman was in and out before you woke up. She left and moved in with a guy friend from work, and I know this guy likes her. Well, where there's smoke, there's fire. She might have been coming up with this reason to break up with you. It might have been the guy from work that broke into your house. I mean, I don't want you to think that, but there's it's a little trivial that she has a backup plan immediately with a guy she likes. Now she won't return my calls. Don't call her anymore. What should I do? I just want her back. Work on strategies and paths towards getting yourself to a point where you go, do I really want an individual like this back? Do I really want to be accused of not protecting a woman that I was willing to protect? Get some time alone, get some exercise in, set up a live coaching session with myself to unpack this a little further, get some clarity, and get your ass back on deck as an individual that has some dignity and some fucking pride. I need to take care of her better. I guess I was in the wrong. I guess I was in the wrong? That means you're trying to validate something you didn't validate in the beginning. And so you stood up for yourself, and now you're going, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't stand up for myself if we could have just stayed together. Well, then you just would have wilted again. Here's a good question. How about protecting yourself in this breakup? How about you protecting your balls and your dignity by saying, yeah, you were being a baby. Grow up. You're being unreasonable that I didn't try to protect you when a burglar came in the house, and who knows how they got in and how they got out. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 10 on deck, 5 likes. Thanks. You never go through a breakup or come across love of my life. Is that weird? Never go through. How old are you, Ridwan Rid? Your name's a bit weird. Ridwan Rid. Never go through a breakup or come across a love of my life. Is that weird? What's your age? Where do you live in the world? Those would be my first 2 questions. Demographics and environment are going to tell me how many options you actually have had. Does she have undiagnosed mental health issues, perhaps? Perhaps, Rob. Perhaps. The amount of people, though, that are with someone that might have those issues, I don't know, undiagnosed mental health issues, I don't know. I'm not a professional with those. Relationships are tough enough. Why, if you're a sane individual that has no experience with mental health issues, do you want to continue on with someone like that? It's very difficult. If you put your best foot forward, my hat's off to you. My hat's off to you. But if you get to a certain point where they're starting to damage you, they're starting to make you think that you have a problem. I've seen this a lot now in the breakup world. People come to me, they're completely fine, they're sane individuals, and somehow they think they're fucked up because they've been with someone fucked up. They somehow think like, hey, I think I might have some mental issues. Hey, I think I need to get some therapy from when I was younger. Did you ever think this before? No. Kim just told me this is how I am, and I need to start doing that. Oh, goodness. People want you to feel how they feel. So consider the people you hang out with. Consider that. And when you start to notice it, it's tough on me now because now when I'm around people, I'm filtering for certain things a lot more than I used to from being a breakup coach, from doing the work I do. Because I listen a lot more intently. And I'm more sensitive to emotions and different things like that. So when I'm around people, I'm like, you know what? This person's just trying to pull me down into the snake pit. I'm not going to hang out with them again. Leon Barron. I am from India, by the way. I didn't know Leon was an Indian name. Little moment of silence there. Anyone have any questions about the stories today? Ridwan, never gone through a breakup or come across love of my life, but I don't know your age and I don't know where you live, so I can't really. Is it possible? It's possible you could be 80 years old and that's true. I'm sure there's some people out there. There was a neighbor I had when I lived in San Francisco, and my great grandmother. It was my great grandmother's house that I was living at. And this neighbor, we knew him for years. He was always single, never had a girlfriend, very outgoing. He was actually a waiter in downtown San Francisco from, this guy, he was in his, I want to say he was probably in his 80s when he passed. And that was early 2000s. So he was, all the way to the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, downtown San Francisco in very high-end restaurants as a waiter. And he, like I said, he lived alone. But if he came to, he came over to my grandmother's house to join us for family dinners, for family gatherings, all the time. Great man. Very, very outgoing. Because you think people that live alone would maybe be more of an introvert or a hermit. Wasn't like that at all. He had his regular things. And not that it would be a problem, but some people thought he might be gay. We're in San Francisco, right? San Francisco has a lot of people that are gay, which, okay. But you know what I mean? This is my great-grandmother's generations, 40, 50, 60s. Possibly was ashamed of it or, didn't. Anyways, when I lived at the house, and he was in his, late 70s, early 80s, and I would go over to the house and just have a chat with him and just have a beer or two and just, old people when they get that age, they like company, just someone to talk to, right? And he appeared to never have had a relationship that was long-term with anyone. And after talking to him, I didn't go over there. This is before my breakup coaching days. I was in my early 20s. I was in college at the time. And he would tell stories about when he was a waiter. He told stories about World War II, being in Italy. He was Italian, really interesting. And different things like that. And then one day he told me some story about he had a bad experience with love when he was a teenager, and something happened to him as a kid that he never wanted to have a relationship, so he never did. And it was still kind of unsure if he did or he did not. But as far as I knew, and like I said, he was my grandmother's neighbor for 50 years or something like that, or 40 years. Never had a relationship. And if you never had a relationship, I guess you never went through a breakup, really. I do believe people that do have those paths in life, they did have something happen to them that when they were young, that they're scared of being in a relationship, possibly. Also, you don't know what you don't know, so you're kind of like, I'm not sure what I want. There is something called asexual, though, where someone just isn't in a relationship because they're not attracted to either or. I haven't met people like that directly. Perhaps this guy that was the neighbor was like that. I'm not sure. But Ridwan, I'm thinking your story is a bit different, because someone out there that would be Rid might be like, oh man, I just, I never love women, or I never love, I don't love anyone. Okay, it's up to you. I will say this, even in the pickup artist world, which I'm not talking about you necessarily, everyone meets their match. And I would say this, even if you're not ready for love, or you haven't been quote unquote in love, you probably have been attracted to someone, at least from afar, or someone you work with, or a friend. You must have been attracted to someone, but you didn't want to act on it. So I think that's sort of overlooked too. But Red, I'm just curious if you're still on to make a statement. I've never gone through a breakup or come across the love of my life. Is that weird? Is it weird to you? It's certainly not normal based on most humans' experience, but there's something to that. It didn't just happen to you. It has to do with your upbringing. It has to do with your current environment, and it has to do with whatever's holding you back. All right, folks. Is there any closing comments or questions for the live stream today? Any topics you want to go over? I did leave the Discord link if you guys want to join that. Been a quiet group today when the stories have been on, huh, Danny? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like when the stories are on, you just want to listen more, huh? Than actually comment.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like when you hear a story, you want to hear the end. You want to hear what's next. Are you always on the Discord live? I've never used the Discord and went live. Oh, you mean am I always on the Discord live? No, I check in from time to time. That's how I do it. I check in from time to time on the Discord. You mean do I always get messages and respond to them immediately? I'm stuttering there. Do you have a word for that in Thai, Danny? Stuttering? Do you know the word stuttering?
Yeah, I know.
You just did it too. I've admit. It's interesting because you know what's funny about stuttering? Mm-hmm. There's people that stutter, right?
Yeah.
Like there were. It's kind of messed up, but there was a friend in college, or my college roommate's best friend from high school, stuttered. Mm-hmm. And he came over, and he was cool, man. He was a nice guy. Like, we got along really well. And he was funny about it. Like, he wasn't, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. You know when you're you're going to get a little bit embarrassed or, like, made fun of. But I wouldn't do that now to someone. It's kind of funny when you get older, you're a little bit more understanding and compassionate and kinder. At least I am. Where in your early 20s, I mean, it's like things that are funny are a little bit immature. But this guy, he was cool. He was cool about it. But I remember we were playing, I told you I don't really play video games, but I used to play a game called Madden. Have you ever heard of that, Dan? Mm-hmm. The American football.
Yeah.
So what was cool about Madden is you play each other, right? When like I was talking about sports before, you're like playing each other. And so if you win, we used to shit talk, like, you know, or score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And this guy that would stutter, it was like, because you have a back and forth. Maybe you do it in video games now, like where you talk a little shit, where you talk, you know, back and forth. Mm-hmm. And this guy that stuttered, it just wasn't even fair, because you'd say something and he'd be like, "Fuck you, Mac." The poor guy was on delay. But like I said, he was really funny about it, you know, like he didn't. And the thing about stuttering is you can overcome it. You can overcome it. But what I was going to say to you is I've never thought about, like, I don't speak Thai, but I hear Thai language. Nice thing about Thai language too, it's not an abrasive language. It's not. It's even though I don't understand it, it's easy to the ear. It's got some softness to it. Mm-hmm. But do people stutter in Thai?
Yeah.
That was my question, because I was just curious. You don't think about people doing it in a different language from your own. Mm. It's kind of crazy. So I think it's just one of those things. It starts when you're young. Something happens usually. All right, folks, we had 13 on deck. I appreciate you all. If you want to throw me a question up there now, or you want to suggest a topic for the future, go for it. If you want to go writemac.com and send your story in. Or book a live coaching session. That's always available. Leon, thanks for touching base. Rob, you're always welcome. I will think of some topics. I'll do my best to appease you. Rid, I'm happy for you that you've been able to avoid not having a breakup or coming across love in your life. I don't think it's weird. I would just need to know more of why. Dark Knight, always a pleasure. Eduardo Martinez, congratulations on your new girlfriend. Derek D, Baltimore's finest. Summer M, hi. And it's curtains.